Our chosen skill, the cartwheel. This is the breakdown. There are 4 steps to it: preparatory stance, force generation, critical instant, and follow through. The expert. Preparatory stance. Arms are fully extended overhead, right foot facing line of travel, while back foot rotated slightly outwards to increase stability. Both knees are fully extended. Hips squared, facing direction of travel. Force generation. Leans forward and reaches for the ground. Her torso and arms travel in a sagittal plane along the frontal axis. Right leg flexes at the knee joint when the right leg contacts the ground. As she goes through the motion, her left leg remains in full extension with foot and toes in plantar flexion. This generates force for her to rotate her body throughout the movement. When her hand touches the ground, her right knee goes into full extension rapidly and pushes her off the ground. Critical point is the most recognizable point of the cartwheel. Here, hips are adducted, forming a Y shape. Legs are fully flexed with feet and toes in plantar flexion. Hands are in line with each other, while arms are almost at full extension. Shoulders are almost fully extended overhead. Follow through. Left foot lands and foot points straight ahead into the direction which it was originally at. Remains fully extended too. Trunk laterally flexes and left foot undergoes dorsiflexion. When her left foot lands, her right hand comes off the ground, right leg trails behind, still fully extended. Right leg undergoes multiplanar movement after her left leg lands. When right foot is approaching the ground, her left hand comes off the ground. Right foot lands, her left knee flexes slightly. To complete the movement, she extends the left knee and plants her right foot. Spine also extends as she moves through the sagittal plane in the frontal axis, bringing her chest up. Arms remain extended overhead throughout the movement. Position is almost identical to her initial preparatory stance, except that her left foot is now in front. The novice. Preparatory stance. Hips facing away from direction of travel, feet perpendicular to the line of travel, facing away from the line of travel. Arms do not extend overhead too. Compared to skilled subject, unskilled subject toes do not align with the direction of travel, making it difficult to generate force during the force generation stage of the movement. With this stance, force will not go linearly over the top of his body. In addition, arms are not extended overhead. This affects the placement of his hands during the cartwheel. Force generation. He takes a step out diagonally and flexes his trunk to the right along the frontal plane to reach for the ground. His arms are extended slightly. Hands approach the ground. His right knee flexes slightly and he raises up his left leg at the same time. Next, he extends his right knee and pushes off the ground slightly. At this stage, both his left and right knee are flexed. However, his right knee has a greater degree of knee flexion as compared to his left knee. His body begins to rotate along the frontal plane along the sagittal axis. Compared to skilled subject, unskilled subject does not kick off with his rear legs enough to generate force. As a result, he kicks sideways and goes around his body. He only pushes off with his right leg to generate force, and both his legs are flexed. Unskilled individual also does not do a quarter turn and cannot generate enough force. Hands are not along a line of travel, and because of poor force generation, the body alignment during the critical instant is affected. Critical instance. His torso leans and falls towards the sagittal plane due to improper starting position and poor force generation. Both legs are flexed. Right leg has a greater degree of knee flexion compared to his left leg. Both ankles are also dorsiflexed. Hips are abducted, arms almost fully extended. Shoulders are also not fully extended overhead. Core is now engaged and joints are not stacked too, making him fall towards the sagittal plane during the rotation during the critical point. Compared to skilled subject, he does not have full overhead shoulder extension and the angle of shoulder adjoint is smaller. Unskilled subject also lacks full body tension. Core is not engaged, legs are not fully extended and ankles are not dorsiflexed. This improper technique during the preparatory stance and critical instant results in poor rotation during cartwheel and falling into the sagittal plane. Follow through. Because his body is rotating along the frontal plane and falling towards the sagittal plane at the same time, when he lands he is off balance. His left leg lands off the line of travel and is pointing away from the direction of travel. Left hip knee, and ankle are all flexed. Right hand comes off the ground before left leg lands. Right leg is flexed, not fully extended, and trunk is laterally flexed. After left leg lands, his right leg undergoes multiplanar movement, causing him to land beside his left leg. His right hand only comes off the ground after his right leg lands. This results in a crouch position and off-balance landing. Both knees, hips, and ankles are also flexed. Compared to skilled subject, unskilled subject has a poor body alignment during the critical instant. He also has a poor base of support when landing and loses his balance. His feet land side by side and does not use his rear leg as a upper and proper base of support as compared to the skilled individuals who lands with a lead foot pointing towards original direction, rear foot pointing slightly out. Comparison of the ending sequence. The skilled subject lands in a position identical to the starting position, while the unskilled subject lands in a crouch position which isn't identical to the starting position. The cues. Here are the cues given to the unskilled subject after his first attempt. After the cues were given, we recorded his progress for the next 3 days. Here is a comparison between his first and last attempt.